Hello, this is DJS, coach of the Tentacle Pirates, and welcome to week 2 of PAC YouTube Season 3. So we got a win in our week 1 matchup. Now let's look on to our week 2 match. So this week our opponent is Ginginese, coach of the Texas Tornadus, and he has quite a threatening team. So his team consists of Chien Pao, Iron Moth, Sandy Shocks, Tauros, Aqua, Bronzong, Mousehold, Bramblegast, Bombardier, Oricorio, Baleform, Crocalor, and Altaria. So he is probably one of the best special attackers of this gen in Iron Moth, and arguably the best physical attacker in Chien Pao. And he also has some other threats like Mousehold and Sandy Shocks, which can be a bit annoying to deal with. I am definitely expecting the Chien Pao and Iron Moth to come, and also the Bramblegast because it resists both of Great Tusk Stab and also can deal with the Dozo pretty well. And I'm also expecting the Bombardier because it's they are only dark type, so it will not the only dark type but probably the one that can be used to deal with Gengar. And I'm expecting any two of Sandy Shocks, Tauros, Bronzong and Mousehold, maybe the Bronzong and the Mousehold. So now let's look at the team that we're going to be bringing this week. So the first mon this week is gonna be the Great Tusk. So I'm running a choice carved Great Tusk this week. So I don't think he's gonna expect a scarf Great Tusk. So I can probably give him a surprise with this and probably try to knock out one of Iron Moth or Chien Pao with a close combat or headlong rush. However, his Moth can Terra, so I have to be careful of that what type he Terras to, or I'll just get a resisted hit and just get knocked out in the end. But yeah, this mon is pretty good against him because like his only switch into this is like Bronzong and Bramblegast, and Bronzong is not gonna stay for long if it switches repeatedly, and Bramblegast doesn't have a lot of defense, so it will probably get worn down with knockoff and ice spinner. Our next mon is gonna be our Gengar. So we do speed tie with Iron Moth, so instead of running a Scarf or Specs, I'm just gonna run a Sash Gengar and try to get a few knockouts with this thing. But that does mean that we need to ensure that rocks are not up, and we can also play some mind games with Destiny Bond. If there is like something faster than us, the Chien Pao, I can just click Destiny Bond and he'll probably have to switch out and I will get a free hit on something. So we are running Psychic for the Iron Moth, double stab and then Destiny Bond, and this is probably gonna be our most offensive mon this week. Then we have our Scream Tail. So we are max speed Scream Tail because it lets us outspeed Iron Moth, and then we can try and paralyze it with Thunder Wave. I have the bulk and a KB ability to take one Sludge Wave from a Terra Poison booster energy boosted Iron Moth. So, and I can switch into rocks and take one hit. So if it's not Scarf, we can switch this thing on the Iron Moth and then just try to paralyze it. So like one of my other mons can have a easier tail to deal with it. Besides that, we have just got a Wish Protect and then Dazzling Gleam to hit most of his team. I can't afford to run Psychic because he has a Chien Pao, so it's better off running Dazzling Gleam than Psychic. Next up we have our Dondozo. So we are running not a Karst Dondozo this week, it's just Liquidation and Body Press with Slip Talk. We are running Max PDF that allows us to take some hits from Iron Moth because we don't need a lot of Def to tank hits from Chien Pao. And yeah, this is probably gonna be our backup for Iron Moth if my other mons can't take a hit, and if it's so, we can just kill it with a Liquidation. Next up we are gonna use this Assault Vest Cyclizar. So in spite of having like 116 speed def, a lot of HP and air salver. This thing doesn't take a hit from iron mod or very good, but we can take one hit at least, and we can just knock off whatever item it has, if it's specs or scarf, or we can try to body slam paralyze it. Besides that, we got U-turn for pivoting and rapid spin for removing the hazards. And finally, we got the Ocean, our Terra for this week. So this mostly a fish def Ocean with some sped def investment. So this thing is our Terra for this week, but I actually like its typing before terraing, because if it doesn't terra, it can take on like Bramblegast and Sandy Shocks pretty well. However, it won't be good against Iron Moth and Chien Pao. However, if I do terra, I can take better hits from Chien Pao and Iron Moth, but then I lose the ability to deal with Bramblegast and Sandy Shocks. So it is gonna be a situational thing. Like if I urgently need to check one of Chien Pao Iron Moth, I will have to terra it to water. Or if like Sandy Shocks and Bramblegast goes down early, then I can terra it to water. Others I probably stick with just its normal terra and try to deal with the other ones. I do have the defense to take a ice spinner from Chien Pao and KO it back with body press. And we have Giga Drain just for some stab, Reach Seed for sustainability, and also running Dark Pulse over Protect now, because like this set gets, without Dark Pulse it just gets wowed by a lot of things. So I decided to go with Dark Pulse instead of Protect here. So now I'll jump on to the battle. So we are in the battle now. So my opponent has decided to bring the Chien Pao, the Iron Moth, the Sandy Shocks, the Bronzong, the Bombardier, and the Bramblegast. So he brought more or less what we expected, except for the Mousehold. He decided to bring the Sandy Shocks over it. But yeah, we should be able to deal with the Sandy Shocks better than the Mousehold anyways. So I'm just gonna lead with the Cyclizer, so we can just knock off whatever he switches in and U-turn out. Expect for the Chien Pao, we can stay in on the Chien Pao. I definitely expect one of the three hazard setters to lead, either the Sandy Shocks, Bronzong, or the Bombardier. But yeah, we are just gonna knock off whatever he leads in and U-turn out. And if he decides to set hazard, I'm just gonna use rapid spin to get rid of them. We will need the hazards to be out, because I want to preserve the focus rush on my Gengar as long as possible. Anyways, let's see what he leads with. So he's gonna send out the Sandy Shocks. So yeah, that's the Sandy Shocks, and we're gonna lead with the Cyclizer and his air balloon. So that's good to know. We're just gonna knock and pop the balloon off. It's probably just for one time switch into Great Tusk. Yeah, if he fires off a move, we probably take two of them, and if he spikes, we can just spin them off. And he decides to go for the Earth Power, and we take that decently, but not pretty well, as the fact that we are pretty SPDF and also have an AV. Yeah, so we're just gonna U-turn out. probably just goes for the vote switch, I assume. Yeah, we get some small chip on this thing, and we can go out to ocean because it doesn't have a good way to do any damage to ocean. Yeah, so we're free to fire off a move. So it just goes for another earth power. It doesn't do a lot as expected, but now we are free to set up a reach seed because I don't think the Bramblegast is gonna switch in, and we can just get some passive damage off on whatever he brings in. Yeah, he just goes for the vote switch, and I'm expecting either the Bombardier or the Iron Moth. So he sends a B-52, which is the Bombardier. So yeah, he does go to the Bombardier, and we will get off a reach seed on that thing, do some passive damage. It doesn't get roost, so it fits not FTs. You don't recover any damage, and if this thing is down, is weakened, Gengar will have a better time. But yeah, we don't stain on this thing, and I don't want to tear yet. We will definitely have to switch out. I'm definitely expecting a U-turn or a Brave Bird, so we can just go to the Scream Tail to soak a hit, but he just goes for the knockoff. That's unfortunate because we lose our berry, and now we probably can't deal with the Iron Moth the way I wanted it to be. But yeah, that's fine. I just decide to go for T-Wave to paralyze this thing. It's probably just gonna U-turn out, and we are fast enough, faster than this thing. I don't think it's carved. Yeah, we just paralyze this thing, and he goes for the U-turn, and he gets a crit, unfortunately. But yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. Yeah, he's probably gonna switch in the Bronzong or the Iron Moth, maybe. I don't think he goes to anything else. Maybe the Chain Pow, if it's Bandit, because yeah, we don't take a Bandit hit, but we should still be able to take a non-Bandit hit. But he goes to the Chain Pow. Yeah, we are not physically bulky, so I don't think we're gonna take a hit from this thing. So I'm just gonna switch to the Dondozo. This will allow us to understand what kind of Chain Pow it is. Yeah, we don't care if it goes for SD anyways. So it just goes for the Ice Spinner. Yeah, that doesn't do a lot, but it still does a lot. Yeah, that means it's definitely banded. So yeah, he's now definitely logged into Ice Spinner. He's gonna switch out, I guess maybe to the Bramblegast. We're just gonna fire off liquidation. Yeah, he's calls into the Bramblegast. It does a chunk, not so much, and it's also leftover, so it's definitely probably more of a defensive set to deal with this thing. Yeah, we definitely do not stay on in this thing, and Ocean can handle it pretty well. It does get pounce, a bug move, but I don't think it fire off a pounce at this point of the game, and we probably can leave one pounce anyways. Oh, he just hard switches out, goes back to the Bombardier. Yeah, that's a good switch. He definitely predicted us to go into our ocean, but that should be fine. Yeah, definitely I'm still not trying yet while he still has the sandy shocks and bramble gas in the back. So I'm just gonna go to the scream tail since it is actually not very useful anymore since it lost his berry. And he just decides to set up the rocks. So we'll have to get rid of them if we want to keep our Gengar sash intact. And I just go for Dazzling Grip to put this thing in range of Gengar. And he just goes for the U-turn out, maybe back into the Chien Pao to knock us out. If he goes to the Chien Pao, we can just protect and see what he walks into, since I know he's banded. Yeah, he might also go to the Iron Moth, but you're max speed, so we can just paralyze that thing. But he just goes into the Bronzong. So I don't know what kind of Bronzong this is, so I'll just go for the Wish, deciding I don't not knowing if we can leave a hit or not, but it just goes for the Gyro, which is definitely KOs us. Unfortunately, I can go into the Gengar, but it will break our sash, and I don't know if I can KO the Bronzong in one hit, not knowing what its item is, and I don't want to get my sash broken yet. So I go to the Psychoizar. We'll get a free rapid spin off. I don't think he switches in the Bramble Gast yet. It might knock us out with the body press, but then we will at least get a free switch in to Gengar. And if it doesn't knock us out, we'll just fire off a knockoff until it knocks us out. So we get the rapid spin off, get the rocks out, and it's Rocky Helmet, so it does some chip. So yeah, it's definitely not the Ghost Resist Berry, so we are free to go to Gengar to fire off a Shadow Ball, but unfortunately it does knock us out with the body press. Yeah. So I'm just free to fire off a Shadow Ball now. I don't think he keeps it in. His best switch in is probably the Bombardier, but a Shadow Ball into Surge Bomb will knock that thing out. And he also doesn't know if what item we are. We can be Scarf, Specs, Life Orb, or even Expert Belt. So he'll probably go into the Bombardier to gauge the damage and figure out what item we are, or the Sandy Shocks just to sack it. So if we knock out the Sandy Shocks, then we probably don't know what item we are. But yeah, if we don't knock it out, then he'll probably know that we are not Specs. Yeah, let's see what he does. Yeah, he just saves this thing. And he brings back the Sandy Shocks. Hopefully we knock it out with the Shadow Ball. And unfortunately we do not. So now he knows that we are not Specs. But I know that this thing is not Scarfed, so we are gonna outspeed it anyway. So we are free to fire off another Shadow Ball and knock this thing out. He will probably go to the Bombardier next, but I think that thing might be in range of a Surge Bomb at this point, but we'll see. If it goes to the Chien Pao, we will just Destiny Bond. He will bring us to a sash, and then he will have to switch out. And we can probably 2-hit knock out something in the back. So yeah, he goes into the Bombardier. Yeah, I'm not sure this Surge Bomb KOs, but it should be pretty close. Hopefully we can KO this and keep our sash intact, but now he will know that we are not Scarf logged. And we fire off the Surge Bomb and we are short of the knockout, but he unfortunately will get the full para. So yeah, so we are can KO this thing now. He knows that we are not scarf now, so he probably just go into the Chien Pao and try to knock us out. Well, he instead decided to go to the Iron Moth, and it's a booster energy. Hopefully not speed, so it's a special attack booster energy. So we at least speed tie this thing. So and we leave one hit, so I'm just gonna fire off a psychic. It probably doesn't KO. But it did, cause we got a crit. That's a very lucky crit, cause that means we don't have to deal with this thing at all, and we still preserve our sash. So that was very big. Yeah, now he has no choice but to go to the Chien Pao. But yeah, as we said, we can just Destiny Bond turn 1 and then fire off a hit turn 2. Yeah, just goes for the Spinari to definitely put us in our sash. Yeah, it gets to our sash and we Destiny Bond. And he's banded, he definitely has to hit us, and this is his only win con at this moment, so he definitely switch out. And we can kill something with the Shadow Ball. Yeah, he brings out the Bramblegast, and we get that thing with this Shadow Ball. Yep, that's a knockout. Yeah, the crit didn't matter at all. Unless he's like max HP max PDF or something. I don't think it still mattered then. Yeah, but now he can knock us out with the Chien Pao, but we still have our Scarfed Great Tusk in the back, so we can just revenge it easily. Yeah, if we get a Karst body proc, it will be funny, but we definitely don't need the Karst body anymore. Yeah, just goes for the crunch and knock us out. Yeah, we don't get the Karst body proc, but that's fine. We can just go into our Great Tusk and CC this thing. I don't know if Bronzong even lives to close combat, but yeah, you can just fire off this close combat now. He withdraws, yeah, goes to the Bronzong, and we close combat, and that doesn't do more than half, so it's probably a roll if we knock this thing out. But yeah, it's best we just switch out, because now at this point he doesn't have a good way to deal with Ocean anymore. Yeah, if he's probably gonna fire off a psychic move, and if not, I don't think he has any good ways to hit Ocean. If he just goes for a body press, it was probably won't do a lot, and we're gonna just tear our next turn, so we'll be out of any big problems. Yeah, so Ocean should be able to deal with the Bronzong from now, and he just goes for the Grass Knot. It's probably for the Dondozo, but yeah, that doesn't do like any sort of damage to us. And now we can just freely Terra into and then fire off a Dark Pulse. Yeah, he switches to the Chien Pao, but we can just knock that thing out next turn with the body press. Yeah, so with Terra Water or Chien now, I don't think the Chien Pao has any ways to hit us super effectively. This Dark Pulse won't do a lot, but yeah. But now we are just free to fire off a body press and knock this thing out. He just goes for the crunch, which doesn't even does half, and we just knock this thing out with the body press. So this should be a wrap. We should be able to knock the Bronzong out with a dark pulse or two. Yeah, he brings out the Bronzong, and we're just gonna fire for dark pulse. And we just get short of the knockoff, and he shows his last move to be Trick Room. Interesting move choice. It's probably to deal with the Iron Thorns. If it had set up too much, he probably leaves like a +2 hit or something, and then he could Trick Room and then try to deal with me. But yeah, we didn't bring Iron Thorns this week. Yeah, it just goes for the Grass Knot, and we'll just knock this thing out with a Dark Pulse. And there goes the Bronzong. So that's gonna be our week 2 match. We win the game 3-0. That crit on the Iron Moth was very fortunate for us, but I had no clue what the set is, so I don't even know if I could deal with what we had left in the back. But yeah, good GG's to my opponent, and we'll be back again on week 3. Bye.